What if Deku was an angel? Finale. Yes, this is the final part of this series. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. I'm hoping I can just finish it in this part, because I said finale. If I don't, I'm sorry. But I'm going to finish it in this part, most likely. So yeah, let's hop right into this video. Izuku had just won the sports festival as he would stand atop a podium as All Might would fly down and would hand him a golden medal, Uraraka would get silver, and then a person in third would get a bronze medal. Izuku would walk back to the classroom along with everyone else, having too much traffic for them to get onto a bus. It took around 30 minutes for them to get there, as they would all sit back down, as their teacher, Shota Aizawa, otherwise known as Eraserhead, would tell them that they will have to go to UA internships. However, there is a catch. Izuku and the new girl, well, I just call her Uraraka. The class doesn't know she's Uraraka, but I'll call her Uraraka. The new girl, Uraraka, will go with Izuku, as Nezu has deemed them strong enough to go out on their own with temporary hero licenses for the 7 weeks they will be gone. I hope you behave, you two. You are hereby dismissed. Go to Nezu's office to pick up your licenses and begin your hero training. He will give you a schedule of your time you'll work and a cell phone so you can get calls. Izuku and Uraraka would nod as they would stand up, gather their things, and then walk out the door. As they would walk down the empty halls to Nezu's office, they would arrive, opening the door as Nezu would greet them with a warm welcome. Ah, young Izuku and young Uraraka. Both of them would just be shocked, like, what? How do you know our names? Nezu would only just laugh, saying, I've been on this planet for years. You expect me not to know when people look pretty similar? It's quite funny how Uraraka changed a lot, while you, Izuku, on the other hand, only had your hair changed to white. That's quite funny, actually. From there, Nezu would just start explaining in a small conversation with Izuku and Uraraka, as he would then hand them their hero licenses and their schedules and cell phones for what they will need during the time they were on clock as a hero. They would go out and start their midday patrol, as they would get a couple bank robberies and muggings, which would be taken care of. They are angel warriors. Like, they can easily take care of some low-life thug trying to rob a bank or a convenience store. It's not like someone it can just be defeating an angel every day. Like, say a normal person walked up to an angel and said, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna kill this angel because it's so easy. No, that's not true at all. That will be impossible unless it's like winning the lottery, basically. Now, Izuku and Uraraka would continue doing this up until one day. Something strange happened. They would be in Hosu City patrolling as a massive fire would break out. They had no clue what this fire could be as they would rush towards it, seeing thousands of Nomus, well, hundreds of Nomus, break out from some type of warehouse. You would see Endeavor and a bunch of other heroes trying to take care of it. While they would look around to see the person Ida was interning ship, but they couldn't see Ida anywhere. Izuku, with his very, very smart intellect, would know Ida probably ran off to try and fight the hero killer, knowing that Ida's brother had just been put into permanent retire because of his injuries by the hero killer. So Izuku and Uraraka would fly around using their wings, trying to locate Ida so that they can defeat the hero killer and save him. They would come across Ida in an alleyway, to which Izuku would jump down with his axe and cut the hero killer's blade clean in half before it could pierce Ida's throat, which would have killed him. Izuku would then get out his dagger and slice the hero killer's chest, which would cause him to start to step back from the whole shock of it all. Izuku moved so swiftly, it only took him a good second to even do those motions. The hero killer would just have his eyes widen in shock as he'd be like, "What? How? How the hell did you do that?" Izuku would just look at him, saying it doesn't matter, as he would get his blade up in the air and slice it right back down, cutting the hero killer in two, as the hero killer would then turn into dust, as Izuku would go over to Ida and would call an ambulance, to which he would pick him up and take him to the hospital. Izuku and Uraraka would then rush off over to where the fire had started. It had mostly been taken care of, but the city was mostly leveled out. At least half of it was. Izuku would ask another hero, as he would then say All Might and some mysterious masked man had gotten into a fight, and it looks like All Might be losing. Izuku would just be shocked as he'd say, All Might losing? This might actually be a worthy opponent. Izuku would have his arms crossed with each other as his sword would go in one hand and his axe in the other, as he would then launch his hands back, which would cause a huge amount of momentum, sending him flying towards the middle of this destruction, to where he would find an unconscious All Might, with All for One about to finish the job, which would be killing him. Izuku would get there just in time and would slice All for One's arm clean off, but All for One had a regeneration quirk which would easily regenerate his arm. All for One would only laugh as he'd say, "Ha, you caught me by surprise. Well, no matter, I'll take care of you like you're a fly. No opponent can be any easier than All Might. He's your world's strongest hope." All for One would send a huge attack right at Izuku with this weird black and red type of electricity sending flying at Izuku. Izuku would easily block it as he would run up to All for One and slice him clean in half, as he would then just look at him saying, "You fool, only other angels and demons can kill angels." All for One would only look surprised as he say, "So, you're not human. You're an angel. That's quite interesting. And I assume she's an angel as well." Izuku would say yes, as All for One would only smile under his mask as he would say, "That's perfect. That's very perfect." Izuku would just wonder what All for One was about to do, as All for One would just be sent flying with momentum amount of speed right at Uraraka, while Izuku would just be sitting there wondering what the hell is All for One trying to do. Izuku would look over as he would see All for One's head or hand right on Uraraka's head, as Uraraka would be down on her knees as if he was trying to hypnotize her into doing his bidding, which Izuku would see and would go for a final kill to All for One's neck, as Izuku would be faced with a sword right to his sword. This, of course, would be Uraraka's sword. Izuku wouldn't want to go his full power because he knew he would kill Uraraka. He could also tell she got a huge power boost from being turned into this weird hypnotized version of herself. Izuku would keep on blocking her attacks until she would end up getting the upper hand, to which Izuku would get out his dagger and start to block her sword, but it proved too much, as his dagger would shatter as the sword would go right through Izuku's chest, as he would start to cough up blood and would be sent flying down towards the ground, as Uraraka's wings would turn into demon wings as she would grow horns and a spiked tail, and her eyes would become black with red pupils. I think that's what they're called. As Izuku would look up to see Uraraka, as he would mutter out his final words. "I always loved you, Uraraka." As if very suddenly, Izuku would feel a slight jolt of pain, and as if would have woken up, as he would see Uraraka strangely right next to him, just as her normal self, as she would be shaking him, saying, Izuku, please wake up. All for One made me attack you, but he ran away afterwards. I'm so sorry, Izuku, but there's a hole in your chest. We're gonna need to find a relative of yours to get a blood transfusion or something like that. Izuku would just say, but how? I'm an angel. She would then say, I know, it's confusing. As they would then hear scrambling from a crowd of people behind them, to which a very small green figure would appear. This would be Inko. Izuku would look surprised as she'd say, I always knew it was you, Izuku, ever since I saw your hair at the sports festival. It was just you with white hair. I can't believe I've been so blind, and I'm willing to take the risk, even if it means saving you, Izuku. Uraraka would look at Inko while just saying, Inko, you know there's a 75% chance of you dying during the surgery, right? Inko would nod, just saying, it's a risk I'm worth taking, as if it's to save my son. Uraraka would nod, and they would go to the hospital to where they would perform a successful surgery, as Izuku would wake up and ask Uraraka where his mother was. She would look down sadly, saying she didn't make it. Izuku would shed some tears as he'd say, it was understandable. Of course, there was a big chance she would die. I can't let this get a hold of me. Gotta continue my journey to becoming the #1 hero. Uraraka would nod and smile happily at Izuku, knowing that he's still full of courage and wants to still become the #1 hero, even after all the hardships he's had to face. Years would pass with Izuku becoming the #1 hero and Uraraka becoming the #2 hero, while being the #1 search and rescue hero as long as recovery hero. Now they would end up having a child named Izumi, but we'll get right back to that after this quick ad break.
Are you interested in buying yourself some My Hero Academia merch? Some amazing hoodies, shirts with your favorite character on it? From Izuku Midoriya to Shoto Todoroki, Bakugo Katsuki, and Himiko Toga. Go click the link in my description box now and get some awesome discounts from 17% up to 48% off. They offer you free shipping as well. So, what are you waiting for? Link in the description.
Now that the ad is over, we can get back into this what if. Now, where I was saying, Izuku and Uraraka would end up having a child named Izumi. This, of course, would end up being a girl. Now, she would be an angel and would have a mix between both her father's and mother's powers and capabilities. Her mother was more of a healing and recovery type angel, so she had a recovery type aspect to her, while also having the strength of her father, so she ended up becoming a very, very strong powerhouse. Izuku and Uraraka would end up becoming the #1 heroes and would end up searching and finding the League of Villains and easily taking them out. However, one villain was hiding in the shadows. This villain would of course be Overhaul. He knew he had to wait after seeing the rise of these angel heroes, and since he had to wait, he would also have to release Eri for his plan, as Eri could compromise the whole thing. Now, during the years he was waiting and watching in silence, he ended up taking notes, a whole lot of them, on Izuku and his family. He knew they were angels, he knew they weren't human, and that's why he spent years with a research team trying to find a way how to kill them so he can do his final plan. Izuku, Izumi, and Uraraka would be walking out one night as a shadowed figure would step out from an alleyway, pulling out a mysterious weapon. This weapon would fire a strange, shining black and red bullet, which would come strikingly fast right at Izuku, Uraraka, and Izumi. The bullet would end up hitting Uraraka straight in the head, as she would fall to the ground completely lifeless, dead. Izuku would get up in a fit of rage and would go straight at man, but would end up disappearing. Izuku would yell for Izumi to get out of there and to run as fast as she could to Nezu's office, or to UA, and should stay by Nezu as he is the second most person Izuku trusts. Nezu would end up finding Izumi and taking her into UA to where he would keep her there, as Izuku would go out not to be seen again. Izumi would end up being trained by Nezu, and keep in mind, she was 10 years old at this point, was already getting trained by Izuku and Uraraka. She would end up having strange dreams with Uraraka and Izuku teaching her how to do things. When she would wake up, she would mysteriously know how to do this. As Izumi would end up becoming a hero as well, and would take her life's journey to try to find the person that destroyed her family, that split them apart. She would end up finding this person, and it just happened to be Overhaul. She would end up finding him as Overhaul, now very, very strong from all the research she was doing, would have multiple just destroying of organism type bullets and would fire it right at her. That is why they could never find Uraraka's or Izuku's body, no matter how hard they tried. As soon as the bullet would come in contact with you, it would completely just disintegrate the body, like it was nothing. Izumi would end up getting shot by this bullet as her entire arm would poof into dust as it would slowly spread. However, she would end up healing her arm so quickly that the dust would materialize right back into her arm as she would punch Overhaul straight across the face, getting out Izuku's sword and axe. She would actually get out Uraraka's sword and Izuku's axe and would behead him with both of the weapons, living on their honor as heroes. As Izumi would fall to her knees crying, saying that it's finally over. The person that could somehow kill an angel has finally been defeated. Now, over the next years, they would search and destroy any technology that could pose such a threat to the angels that were now protecting the Earth. Izumi would end up starting a family as Izuku's generation and bloodline would end up lasting for centuries. It's kind of like Goku's bloodline, basically. And that's where this what if ends, guys. I hope I don't hear or see a bunch of comments saying, when's part 4? Please, I want part 4. When I said at the start, it's a finale, and at the end, that's where I'm going to end this video and what if off. I thank you all for watching. Once again, next what if series will be coming out on Wednesday. What if Deku had Sans powers? I'm pretty excited to do that one. I have a lot of ideas for it. So yeah, what if Deku has Sans powers coming out on Wednesday? I thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.